She's getting old, man. I think I'm gonna have to put her down, yo. When I was a kid, I had a lot of pets. I had one pet, I had a pet fly. That's what I had. And I didn't want him to get away, right? So I pulled his wings off. And I named him Walker. You ever hear somebody say the phrase, boy, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall? Every time I hear that phrase, I'm like, and then what? Because people say that because they want to hear the information that was in the room. I did the research. Flies don't have ears. You need to be a fly on the wall that can read lips. And even if you get the information, what are you going to do with it? You're a fly. Nobody listens to a fly. You've never heard somebody say, let's just say a fly told me. It just doesn't happen that way. It just doesn't. My son, 6 years old, asked me to buy him a fish. He wanted a pet fish. This is not going to work out for the fish. He's 6. He's going to be playing with the fish, juggling the fish. We get to the pet store, the young small fish, they're swimming off fast. It's almost like they're showing out for my son, like, pick me, pick me, pick me. The older wise fish, they're not even making eye contact. My son picks one of the older wise fish. He's like, Dad, I want that one right there. And for real, the fish were like this. My son was like, Dad, is that fish doing that because he's close to death? I was like, I think he knows it. I was like, come on, son, let's go somewhere else. And then I turned back and looked at the fish, and the fish went like this. I was like, that's amazing. Okay, so it's nice, so I gotta find them, man, because they kind of, all right. These are hot off the, like, these are nowhere yet. These are nowhere. And they better not get anywhere, because that's going to be messed up. Then I'm going to be like, yeah, I saw it on YouTube. Great stuff. No, I won't. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, oh, no, that's not it. These are brand new. These are, I don't even know if they're funny. So listen, if these jokes that I throw at you, if they're not funny, don't laugh. Okay? If they're funny, laugh. If they're not, don't laugh, because I don't want to get on TV and they don't work. Be like, ooh, rock wall. Yeah, messed up. So I'm just doing this right before I bounce. Bounce needs to vacate the premises. People, okay. People always say stuff like, the early bird gets the worm. And you know what? The worm woke up early too. Take your time, man. It's okay. It's okay. I was waiting on something. Oh, here it is. Social media. I don't understand social media. I had a guy walk up to me after an event. He walked up to me. He's like, hey, Michael Jr., can you like me? I'm like, dude, do anybody else like you? He was like, well, not as many people as I want. I was like, maybe it's your approach. He was like, can you like me when you get home? I was like, if I don't like you now, I'm not gonna like you when I get home. He said, well, if you like me, I'll follow you. I was like, that's your problem right there. Next joke. Let's see if I can throw another one. This is kind of cool. It's a random thought. Oh, I just wrote this random thought. Yo, what's another word for thesaurus? That is awesome. I'm gonna have to do that. That wasn't even part of the Jay Leno thing. James. No, I did the joke already. Creative director. Cool. Oh, this is the eye. Wrong crowd for this one. It's gotta be a black audience. All right, no, really. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna tell you a real story. Last time I did Leno, first of all, let me tell you how I met Leno. Jay Leno. I was doing it. There's a club in Los Angeles that's one of the hardest clubs in the country to get into. It's really, really, really hard to get into. The way I got in is this comedian named George Wallace saw that I was clean. It was like 10 years ago. He knew I was clean, and he took me into this club called the Comedy Magic Club. I walk into the green room, and in the green room is Gary Shanley, Jay Leno, and now George Wallace. If you don't know who George Wallace is, one of my favorite George Wallace jokes, he says he was in China, and he bought a pair of shoes. And he looked at the bottom of them, and it said, made right around the corner. So he takes me into the green room, and like I said, in the green room is Gary Shanley, George Wallace, Jay Leno. These are some soldiers in comedy. I'm brand new in town. And I remember walking into the green room, and they were working on a joke. A football player, and he got hit in the eye with a flag. You guys remember that? He got hit in the eye with a flag, and he lost his vision in one eye. Now he's suing the league for like $400 million. Now all of these guys are working on helping Jay Leno with his joke for the Tonight Show's monologue the following week. I'm in the room too. I ain't saying nothing. I'm just happy to be in the room. But your gift, the Bible says, will make room for you. So I'm sitting in there, and they're working on the joke. Then they got quiet, and they looked at me, and I was like, oh, snap. This is an opportunity. So I was like, all right, let me see if I got this right. He got hit in the eye with a flag. He lost his vision in one eye, and he's soon to leave for $400 million. He not going to see half of it. For real. Things, it's like that. Bam. Shortly after, I'm on the Tonight Show. We hanging out, doing some cool stuff. I did it twice. Now I'm going to go back and do it again. But most importantly, I'm in the club now. Now I'm headlining that club on a regular basis, having fun. I went to the club probably, I think this happened like 3 years ago. And I walked into the club, and right before I got on stage, I did a prayer. And I'm headlining this night too. And right before I got on stage, I did a prayer. Oh, let me back up a little bit. When I first went to the club, I couldn't even park close to the club. I had to park way down the street, like way down the street, right? And I remember walking to my car. This is a little side note. I remember walking to my car, and the club is kind of like Beverly Hills area. Beverly Hills is kind of nice. It's a nice area, in case you haven't heard. And I'm jogging in Beverly Hills to get back to my car. I'm jogging. I was black back then, too. When I was jogging in Beverly Hills, I'm jogging. And this white lady who I don't even know, comes around the corner about 20, maybe 15 feet in front of me. We're jogging in the same direction. Then she looks back. She starts jogging faster. So I look back too. I didn't see anything back there, but I figured if this white lady's scared of it, I'm scared of it too. So I start jogging faster. After she looked back again, she took off in full stride. This time I didn't even look back. I kicked in the gears too. I could have easily passed her up. I'm thinking, no, I can't just leave this defenseless lady out here by herself. Whoever back there gonna get her. So I yelled up to her, is that as fast as you can run? So let me tell you something about the joke. It really happened. Everything I just told you really happened. Now I've added and made it funny, but what really took place is the lady took off running. She fell down. Everything about me is how I was raised. I wanted to help her up. The police station was right across the street. It was an area where, anyway, the police station was right across the street. And I literally couldn't help this lady up, even though everything about how I was raised, I wanted to help her up. She was scared, screaming, and because of the way it looked, I know I would have been in prison. But I really wanted to help her. But this is what's so cool. What the devil meant for bad, God has flipped it good, because that very story I've told you just now, Jay Leno calls it a classic. But it came from something that didn't look good at all. And now I'm able to laugh at it this amount of time later. All right, we're going back to the club now. So I'm at the club. I'm headlining at the club. And right before I get on stage, I'll do a prayer. And in this prayer, God gives me a change in mindset about comedy. Most of the time when a comedian gets on stage, he wants to get what? Laughs. Completely all about getting laughs. I was completely about that. I had a change in mindset, and God said to me, instead of going up there to get laughs from people, I want you to go up there and give them an opportunity to laugh. This changed everything. Because now I'm not looking to take. I'm looking for an opportunity to give. So I get up on the stage, I do my show, we have an amazing time. In fact, I think that was the night that I wrote the whole joke about comedy is like dating, because I was so relaxed. I was like, we just got some fun. I go up on stage, I do my show, we have a great time. I leave the club that night. There's people outside, they're buying my stuff. I have books and I have CDs, and I got a new DVD of comedy special. All of that stuff is available afterwards if you guys want to buy it. Check this out. This is what I'm doing with my merchandise. If you guys can buy some merchandise, please do. We'll love it, it'll be cool. If for some reason you can't afford one of my items, tell the person at the table and I'll give it to you. If you can't afford it, go ahead and buy it. If you can afford more than that, buy more and leave some for the people who can't afford it. That's just how I roll. I don't know exactly. God told me to do it like this, so that's how I do it. Listen, and all of this stems from a change in mindset. Instead of trying to get, God told me to give. So listen, so I go up on stage that night and do my show. We have a great time. I leave the club that night. There's people outside. They want autographs. They're laughing, telling me their favorite jokes. It's the same situation every time I leave this club. But this time, while I'm talking to the people, I look across the street and I saw a homeless guy. I had never seen a homeless guy outside this club before, ever. But that doesn't mean he wasn't there before. That just means before, my mindset was to get laughs from people, so why would I even notice a homeless guy? I saw him and I was like, what about him? How could I give him an opportunity to laugh? Then I asked God, and God was like, you really want to know? And I was like, nope. Because you know it's going to be an assignment or something. Then I said yes, and we went and did this comedy tour. We made a video. We made a documentary. It's called Comedy, The Road Less Traveled. First place we went to was Fort Worth, Texas. A place there called the Samaritan House. The Samaritan House takes care of people who are homeless and they have HIV. And they brought them all together and did a comedy show for them, and I didn't think they were going to laugh. I was scared for real, because I didn't think they could laugh. I get up there, I start doing comedy, and they're laughing. They're having a great time. This dude walks up to me named Steve, and they already told me Steve doesn't talk to anybody. And he's walking up to me, and I'm like, what are we going to do? Just stare at each other? What are we going to do? And he says to me, I just want you to know that up until tonight, I hadn't laughed in over 20 years. When he said that, I almost started crying. I was like, now you'll be crying, you better back up. We left there, we went to Montrose, Colorado. There's a place in Montrose called the Dolphin House. The Dolphin House takes care of children who are being abused by their parents who are on drugs. This grandmother tells me the story of her grandson who is so afraid of his mom. Everywhere he goes, he wears a Spider-Man costume. One of the things his mom has been doing to him is she's been pulling out his toenails. So she tells me this story, then they bring all these other kids in and they tell me their stories. And I hear their stories and I look at them in their eye. Then they bring them all in at the same time and I gotta do jokes for them and their caregivers. If my mindset was still to get laughs from people, there's no way I would have been able to do the show. But my mindset was changed to giving them an opportunity to laugh. So I had to do the show. It's part of my assignment. It's what I do. So I get up on stage, all of the kids are in here, sitting right up front, Spider-Man, full costume, clenching his grandmother with his back to him. I start doing jokes, people start laughing. Slowly but surely, they're laughing more and more. 20, 25 minutes into it, I hear a voice come from right here, and the voice says, my name is Ronan. And this little boy pulls off his mask and introduces himself to me. And he starts talking to me for like 9 minutes, like I'm not doing a comedy show. He's talking about Spider-Man, talking about Batman. He said, Batman has a belt. And I was like, well, yeah, I got a belt too if you don't sit down somewhere. That's exactly what happened. The whole room laughed. It was like the biggest laugh of the night. Now listen, I can guarantee you it was not in my notes to do a joke about whooping kids. In a room full of abused kids. But it was like God knew what comedy needed to be done. The elephant, so to speak, had to leave the room. We had an amazing time. We leave there, we go to Skid Row. There's 10,000 homeless people on the streets of Los Angeles every night in like a 5-block radius. We go to Skid Row, and this dude says to me right before the show, he looks at me and says, man, I've been homeless for 7 years. I've been on crack cocaine for 5 years. I was beaten, I was stabbed, I was left for dead. You gonna make me laugh, Michael Jr.? Dude, I didn't do that stuff to you, man. Same dude has to use his left hand to keep himself from falling out of his chair in laughter. In this film, we get to see the transformation that takes place. All of this happened because back at the club, I prayed, God gave me a change in mindset. What is a mindset? A mindset is a fixed mental attitude that predetermines a person's response or interpretation to a situation. Most teams have a mindset of smashing the other team. And that's cool on the field to a degree. But what if you really play with a change of mindset? What if your attitude is, how can I give? You give your best. You press as hard as you can, but then you pick the other player up. A change in mindset, Romans 12:2. Be not conformed to the ways of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Anyway, so we go to this last place. We go to a youth prison. We go to a youth prison, but then we go to an adult prison. The youth prison was a little hard. They just want you to banter back and forth. That was cool. I know how to do that. I was like, you so dark-skinned, I bet if you ride a motorcycle, you get a ticket for tinted windows. Like, I got that. So that was cool. But then we leave there, we go to an adult prison. I get to this adult prison, I'm scared for real. These are grown men doing real time. I'm going there to do jokes and leave, hopefully. As soon as I walk in, the warden takes my belt from me. He says, you can't have a belt. Somebody might try to hang you. I'm like, can't they just boo me or something? Why they gotta hang me? I'm in prison, my pants loose. It's a bad idea, man. Just saying, I got 7 different ways to look at this, man. So I'm scared for real. I'm walking into prison and bars open in front of you, then you take a few steps and they close. They open in front of you, take a few steps and they close. I'm scared for real. I need a joke immediately. I need them to like me immediately, but not too much, you know? I had a joke before I got into the prison, thought it was gonna be hilarious. I got into the prison, I was like, maybe I'm not gonna do this joke. I was gonna say, you know, you guys are a captive audience. I just want to say that, you know. But I didn't feel a peace in my spirit about doing that joke. So I don't know what I'm gonna say. I'm scared, and the prisoners are and they're waiting. I got a few more steps before I gotta bring the funny. And these cats are expecting funny, and I'm scared. I got nothing. I don't know what I'm gonna say. I got nothing. I walk in. There's no stage. There's no glass. We're not doing comedy on the phone. These cats are right here expecting funny. I walk in and all of them got on pink jumpsuits. So what? I ain't saying nothing about them jumpsuits. I have nothing to say. I remember walking in, I got 2 steps left. I put this right foot down, step number 1, I got nothing. When this foot comes down, I gotta bring the funny, or I don't know what's gonna happen. And I got nothing. I lift this foot up, I still got nothing. I settle this foot, and for real, sitting right up front is a white dude with a white beard named Moses. I was like, thanks, Lord. When I said these words of Moses, the place exploded in laughter. We had an amazing time. I said, Moses, this is what I want you to do. When you see the prison warden, I want you to look him in his eye. You look him right in his eye, and I want you to say, let my people go. For real. Couple things you gotta catch. How did I get that in that moment that fast when I needed it? I was practicing. I've been practicing since I was 7 years old for moments like with the Jay Leno thing and moments like that in the form of a child who couldn't read. Now I read just fine, but I had this handicap that was preparing me, that was really strengthening me. Even though it looks like a weakness, it was really making me strong. Another thing you gotta catch is I didn't know what I was gonna say or what I was gonna do until I got my feet where they needed to be. It's the same thing with you. You're gonna have to trust. You're gonna have to have some faith. Some people say, I don't have faith. Yes, you do. When's the last time you saw some oxygen? So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you the trailer to Comedy Roll Less Travel. I'm gonna talk to you shortly afterwards. Then we're gonna bounce music, vacate the premises. Check it. Comedy Roll Less Travel.